Welcome everyone back to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. My name is D-Free. Here today, we're going to go over the Extreme Z Awakens that are currently in the game. And I wanted to do this one a little bit different. So of course, obviously this is here. I'm trying to do that a lot more commonly now, but I'm still kind of getting more used to it. So no way to get used to it without doing it, right? But a couple of things that I wanted to do here is I wanted to take a look at the current Extreme Z Awakens that are in the game. So we're going to take a look at the current Extreme Z Awakens. That's where we're going to start. And then we're going to pivot all the way over to STR Gogeta and my expectation for his Extreme Z Awaken. And there are various things like the fact that he could realistically be better than Int Gogeta in a lot of scenarios, if not just always, right? Post Extreme Z Awaken. So we're going to talk about this. This is, of course, a hypothetical. We have no proof, no downloads, no leaks, none of that right now. We don't know if he'll even get one. We presume he will. Obviously, for the most part, we feel like he will because a lot of the same units have, but we don't know for sure yet. So to begin, we're going to jump into that. I hope you guys enjoy, of course, hit that subscribe if you are new. So this is what we have as far as Extreme Z Awakens, give or take. There might be a couple missing, but I don't think any are as of right now. So what I did for this video was I ignored this guy because, I mean, he's just a worse version of this card pretty much. He has his moments, but other than that, the main unit is the AGL Goku, and I ignored the free-to-play units, and I ignored the Family Kamehameha Trio. But if you want to see any of these cards in action, by the way, I did a showcase video over the last couple of days that features every single one of these, different teams. Those will be in the description, but I ignored them and only stuck to the units like Gogeta that are Dokkan Festival exclusive, and likewise have that premium plus like 7,000 give or take stat boost, right? So that's one of the most important things that I think a lot of people need to be aware of is the stat boost. So we have the plus 7,000 give or take, a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on the unit, the type, etc. And on top of that, the SA boost to level 15 because of the Extreme Z Awaken. And the potential increases to the super attack modifier, the passive increases as well, and things like that, things of that nature, right? So when I went through this, there were a couple of things I noticed. So for the units that were already really relevant still and already really good, they actually didn't get like, they got better, but they didn't get like some sort of crazy buff. The most notable example of that is Frieza, who happens to be, I think, the last one in relation to this line of cards next to Gogeta that has Extreme Z Awaken, right? So pretty much the most recent one next to Gogeta, the other ones came prior. And Frieza already had immense, was already very powerful. He didn't even get a boost to his attack at all. Like, all he gets is defense. Of course, the super attack increase, the stat gain, so technically he'll hit harder, right? But he doesn't change anything. So when we see that, you kind of know what to expect for Gogeta. But another reason why this is a good barometer, because Gogeta was the best one of these units, and it wasn't even close at this time. It's a good barometer, but it's also not at the same time because of the fact that when we bounce over to Gogeta, he actually had a flat boost passive. So recently, we've seen a lot of units change their flat boost passive to be something like a percentage-based one. And the most relevant example as far as this video is concerned is this guy right here. So he went from having literally only 7,000 attack boost like Gogeta to switching up and getting 80% attack and defense. So it's realistic to say maybe Gogeta gets something like that. Maybe not 80 because Gogeta still has the secondary part of his passive where he's super effective, but it's realistic to say he gets something. So if Gogeta gets 80%, he's disgustingly good. He's very powerful, right? And we get to the point where when it comes to Gogeta, and we take a look at the Int Gogeta as well, and obviously off the top, if you're just looking at the cards, you're looking at the stats, you're looking at that stuff, well, not even looking at the stats, you just look at the passive, I bit my tongue there, and all that, you're like, okay, well, even with 80%, right, there's no way STR Gogeta is even anywhere near as good as it because he's getting 120 and things like that, so obviously that's what you would think. So we're going to come right back to that, and I wanted to go back and dig into some of these previous ones a little bit more. So the most recent one is Kid Buu. So with Kid Buu, we see an example of them being cognizant of this card's weakness. So this card's biggest issue was his dependency on Ki, and that's actually every Kid Buu's biggest weakness in the game right now. So you see, in the very beginning, they give the 2 Ki boost to him and all the other units that are around him. They do not change his restriction. They don't, because they realize that 50% is such an incredibly powerful boost at all points, and it's still pretty much the most powerful boost in the game among support units. Like, there are some units that offer 50% defense, like stuff like that, like Ultimate Gohan, STR Rose, Super 17, like they're not Super 17, but Andrew 17, the MVP one, Tournament of Power MVP. There are units like that. So, but 50%, non-color restricted, attack and defense, 2 key. That's as good as it gets. So you see an example of a unit like Frieza and like a couple of these others that was way ahead of his time. So they didn't even bother to change him, again, because they're aware of the issue that he had. But what they did do that was really good for him was they offered to give him below 80%, 79% or lower, which is always. If you get hit with the super, you can knock below 80, you will at least get 30%, which is more average. And he still does relatively a lot of damage because of, again, the stat boost, the super attack level 15, the immense damage, the defense lowering, all these little factors. Still does over 1 million damage. So what you have here is a unit that got a tremendous upgrade, long story short. And then same for Frieza, like I said. He gets attack gain, level gain, all that stuff, so he's going to hit harder, but he mainly picks up defense. And that's a trend that you'll see with the rest of these units. Where they didn't have defense, they'll pick up some. So Frieza picks up defense and early super attack because of the way that his passive works. He gets extra 3 key. We come over here. Cell actually gains self-sufficiency by picking up an additional key, right? And then we come over here. Goku, he had offense just like Frieza. He picks up defense. Unrestricted, the offense is still turn restricted though. There's that. And immense damage as opposed to Supreme. Their attacks are getting upgraded from Supreme to immense. Gohan, immense damage, greatly raising attack. That's a nasty combo, by the way. Great raise and immense is a nasty combo. He even picks up defense, 40%. Keeps his early super attack at 7. And guaranteed 5 keys, so guaranteed super attack as soon as he hits, the 7 key. He's guaranteed. That's 1 key on most teams. He probably already has it. Maybe you have shocking speed and 3 key leaders, and you're good. 80% attack, immense, great raise, stat boost, all that. Which even this is a really good example because we have an example of a unit for all intents and purposes that realistically is better than his STR counterpart. The only reason the STR would be better is because he's a leader. You're not going to use this Gohan for his leader skill. The STR leader is literally a category leader, and sometimes the support that the STR provides will be right. His passive for defense is too unreliable on the STR, things like that. Broly here, no defense. He in fact reduced it, picks it up. So I wanted to explain all that to get to Gogeta. So here's my prediction for Gogeta. All types, 3 key, 70%. I think that's fair. There are 3 key, 2 key, 70% boosts, 100% with 1000 Day Goku, the free-to-play Goku, and free-to-play, and Gohan from the Super Battle Road offer something similar as well. Again, those are LRs, even though this unit will have LR type stats, right? I mean, look at his stats at 100%, 17,000, 10,000. He's going to have really powerful stats. That's my prediction for him. 3 key, 7. Super attack. I am going to say it is immense and defense reduction. I don't know if they want to give him attack reduction. They might. If they give him attack reduction, that literally, to me, invalidates it. Just in a lot of scenarios. Yeah. Of course, that doesn't invalidate it from, like, Super Int. Of course, because this unit's still relevant on Super STR. So, moving on from that, I'll just say immense damage, defense reduction, or some sort of increased defense by 30% for 3 turns, or attack, or something like that, right? Probably defense. I think it'd be more defense-oriented, because it's less impactful if it's defense. Passive skill. Effective against all types, right? He's going to keep that, because he's Gogeta. This is where it's interesting, though, because I think he'll probably get a 60% passive. Before you click off the video, let me tell you why that's good. Because I dug up this, and by the way, look at the stat comparison here. At 100%, 15, 16, and 9, STR has better stats because of the stat gain that he gets by being one of those premium units in the Dokkan Festival potential system. I dug up this very old article on the Dokkan Reddit where they say here, and we're going to just go over it, Broly and Gogeta both have the same 7k attack passive. I covered that. So since Broly got an 80% attack passive, it's entirely reasonable for Gogeta to be given an 80% attack passive as well. It is, right? Although Gogeta still has a secondary part, so maybe not. That's why I chose 60. At the free dupe level, STR Gogeta will be hitting for slightly over 2 million. That's just free dupes. No dupes invested, just the free 55%. I use the average attack stat gain from Super Saiyan 3 Goku and AGL Broly for his stat gains. So he's saying the extra 20 levels, the stat gains that he gets, he factored the average between those two units and applied it to Gogeta as well, buffing his stats to probably like 18, 19, whatever. We were looking at them, he had like 17k, stuff like that. I did not give Gogeta an additional attack buff at super attack level 15, although it's almost guaranteed that he will be given an additional attack buff when he does reach SA 15. So when these units hit SA level 15, they have an effect that kicks in, like the LRs, for example. So for Broly, I believe it's just an attack gain of 20%. It's something like that. Some of these units have stuff like that, right? Where, you know, they just get more powerful. So it doesn't say here. I don't want to dig into it too much. Yeah, I don't want to dig into it, but he's saying, I don't know. I have to go into the game. But if I'm wrong about that, regardless, he said he didn't even use it, so that's fine. Taken from the top 10 hitters list 9 months ago, by the way. Int Gogeta deals about 1.8 million damage at the free dupe level. STR Gogeta will deal 2 million at the free dupe with an 80% passive. So he's with an 80% passive, he out damages Int Gogeta, right? At 100%, that 80% passive is almost 3 million. While at 100%, Int Gogeta's is almost 2.4 million. They start getting a really nasty disparity as they go up when you incorporate dupes, because the STR Gogeta is able to get more bonus from them because of the stack game. And he says, even if Gogeta is given a 60% passive, he still out damages Int Gogeta with 2.58 versus 2.39 million for Int Gogeta. He's still doing over 1 million damage more with a 60% passive. That's disgusting. This is an insanely powerful unit. He has a lot of room for growth. And then he says, even if he's given a 40% boost, he gets 2.2 million. So if he gets a 40% passive increase, he's still almost at 2.3 million, which is just shy of Int Gogeta attack-wise. So for the purpose of this, if Gogeta is given a 45% or higher, he will out-damage Int Gogeta. 45 or higher. Don't forget that I didn't give him a damage buff at SA 15. If he gets a damage buff at SA 15, then he will be out-damaging Int Gogeta on a 40%. This unit, at 40% increase, is that powerful, right? Now, that's not to say the defense, which he'll probably pick up defense, which is one thing that this unit doesn't have, because this, I mean, his defense comes in the form of debuffing, which isn't always applicable. He's from the era of the game where everything was all damage, and it still is kind of that, but again, as I showed earlier, they're a lot more aware of the fact that you need defense. They pick up defense. These units all have defense. All the Dokkan Fest units now have defense. They have it built in. Like, all the new units have defense. There's no units like this that just are offense. So that's my opinion, 60%. And that's where I think about it. So anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. I'll catch all of you in the next one. Take it easy, guys.